Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Ain't nobody coming to save you. You want to be great? You want to be successful? Then you got to move different. You can't do what everybody else is doing and expect to be unstoppable. This life is about habits, not wishes, not luck, habits. What you do every single day is what builds your legacy. See, everybody talks about dreams, but not everybody's willing to work on them. The habits I'm about to give you, these 5, you start living by them, and I promise, ain't nothing gonna stop you but you. Success doesn't come from talent alone. It comes from disciplined habits. A lot of people get confused by this. They think talent is everything. They think if someone's gifted, if someone's naturally good at something, they're bound to win. But let me tell you something. This world is full of talented people who are broke, bitter, and broken. Talent might open the door, but it's habits that keep you inside. It's habits that get you up when you don't feel like it. It's habits that keep you focused when distractions are pulling at you from every direction. People see the highlight reel of successful folks and think it's all about luck or being born with something special. They don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the grind when no one is clapping. They don't see the repetition, the sacrifices, the self-control. That's what makes the difference. You see, disciplined habits are like the backbone of success. You want to lose weight, get in shape, build a business, raise strong kids, write a book, run a marathon. It all comes down to the habits you build and stick to. And those habits, they don't show up by accident. You have to create them with intention. That's the thing most people miss. You don't wait until you feel like doing something. You build the habit of doing it regardless of how you feel. Because feelings are inconsistent. But habits, once they're locked in, they don't ask your permission. They don't care. If you're tired, if you're stressed, if it's raining outside, habits just say, let's go. The most successful people in the world, in any field, they're not always the most gifted, but they've mastered the art of discipline. They know how to tell themselves no. They know how to delay gratification. They know how to do the boring stuff again and again until excellence becomes their default setting. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it works. Think about the athlete who trains 6 days a week, not because it's always fun, but because they've built a routine that their body and mind follow. Think about the entrepreneur who wakes up before sunrise, plans their day, learns new strategies, and takes risks daily. That's not talent. That's habit in action. Now here's the real power of disciplined habits. They compound over time. One good habit done every day might not look like much. You might not see results this week, maybe not even this month, but give it 6 months, give it a year, and it will change your whole life. That's how habits work. They grow slowly, silently, and then all at once. People will call it overnight success, but it's not. It's everyday success. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's making choices today that your future self will thank you for. It's refusing to be ruled by impulse or laziness or fear. It's staying steady when the world gets shaky. And that kind of discipline, that's rare. That's powerful. That's what separates the unstoppable from the ordinary. Most people give up when things get hard. Most people wait for motivation to come before they act. But the ones who win, the ones who lead, the ones who rise, they've built habits that carry them through. Being unstoppable is about mindset, routine, and self-belief. It's not about having the perfect plan or waiting for the right opportunity. It starts in your mind. Everything you will ever do, everything you will ever become begins with how you think. If your mindset is weak, your life will reflect that weakness. But if your mind is trained, disciplined, and focused, You become a force that nothing can shake. The way you talk to yourself, the beliefs you carry, the thoughts you allow to live in your head, these things build or break your momentum. Most people lose the battle before they even start because they've already told themselves it's too hard, too late, or not possible. But those who are unstoppable, they think different, they talk different, they walk with a quiet kind of confidence, not because life is easy, but because their mindset is strong. Once the mindset is in place, the routine becomes your weapon. People who win consistently have structure. They don't waste time figuring out what to do each day. They've already decided. They've got a rhythm that protects their energy and maximizes their focus. They know when they're working, when they're resting, when they're learning, and when they're pushing their limits. That kind of routine doesn't come from luck. It comes from discipline and commitment. It's not about being busy all the time. It's about being intentional with your time. Every hour counts. Every decision matters. And when you build a life around purposeful routine, you start to see changes others can't even explain. People will ask how you do it, but they won't understand that it's not one big move. It's daily consistency. It's deciding every single day to live in alignment with your goals. But none of that works without belief. Self-belief is the fuel that keeps the engine running when everything else is falling apart. There will be days when nothing goes right. There will be moments when nobody claps, nobody sees you, and nothing seems to be working. And in those moments, if you don't believe in yourself, you'll stop. You'll doubt. You'll quit. But when you've got real belief, when you truly know that you were built for more, you'll keep going even when it hurts. Belief turns failure into feedback. Belief turns obstacles into growth. And belief turns delay into preparation. That belief isn't something you're born with. You grow it. You feed it. You water it every day with your thoughts, your actions, and your words. You tell yourself who you are before the world tells you who you're not. You decide that you are capable, you are worthy, you are powerful, and you act like it. Mindset, routine, and belief work together like a machine. When one gets weak, the others pick up the slack. When all three are strong, you become unstoppable. You move with clarity, you grind with purpose, and you recover with resilience. You don't need perfect conditions because your foundation is already built. Small daily choices determine long-term greatness. Most people think success is some big event, one grand opportunity, one lucky break that changes everything. But the truth is, greatness is built in silence and repetition, in small, quiet decisions that nobody else sees. It's the choice to wake up an hour earlier to work on your dream. It's the decision to read a book instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone. It's the moment you push through one more rep at the gym when your body says quit. Those choices seem small in the moment, but they build a foundation brick by brick. Every day you either building or tearing down your future with the choices you make. It's easy to overlook how powerful a small decision can be. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Eating junk for one day feels harmless. Procrastinating just one more hour doesn't look like it'll hurt. But those small moments, when stacked up, shape your reality. Because they're never just one-time decisions. They're patterns in disguise. And patterns become habits. And habits become lifestyle. Before you know it, that one skipped workout turns into a week of excuses. That one missed opportunity turns into a season of regret. But the opposite is also true. That one positive choice today, the decision to stay disciplined, focused, and intentional, starts a ripple effect. It creates momentum. It builds trust within yourself. And the more you stack good choices, the more you transform from the inside out. The people who become great, the ones who rise above average, they don't wait until everything is perfect. They don't wait for motivation. They move with purpose, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that long-term success is built on short-term effort, repeated again and again. They build routines around their goals. They protect their time. They say no to the things that don't align with their vision. And they don't need a crowd to keep going. They do it in the dark when nobody's watching because they've learned to respect the process. Your life is not determined by what you do once in a while. It's determined by what you do daily. Greatness doesn't show up in random bursts of effort. It shows up when you master the ordinary. When you make the call, take the step, do the work every single day. That's how confidence grows. That's how results come. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people underestimate what they can do with consistent small actions over time. They chase quick results and give up when things don't happen fast. But the ones who are truly unstoppable understand that the compound effect is real. They stay patient. They stay consistent. They don't get distracted by what others are doing. They stay locked in on their own lane, making small choices that lead to big changes. Because in the end, it's not the grand moves that change your life. It's the daily decisions you make when nobody's watching. Your habits reveal your future before it arrives. You don't need a crystal ball to see what someone's life is headed. You just need to look at what they do every day. The way someone treats their mornings, how they respond to challenges, the effort they put into their work, the people they choose to surround themselves with. These things are the indicators of what's coming next. If someone's habits are lazy, disorganized, and inconsistent, the future will reflect that. If their habits are strong, focused, and growth-oriented, their future will rise to meet those actions. Habits are like seeds. You plant them every day with your choices, and eventually they grow into results. You can't plan chaos and expect peace. You can't plan procrastination and expect progress. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are, and who you are becomes what you live. Most people think their future is built on big moments or lucky breaks, but in reality, it's built in the unseen hours. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the decisions you make when no one is around. That's when character is formed. That's when discipline is tested. And that's when the habits that define your future take root. You might not see the outcome right away, but habits are patient. They wait. They build slowly, shaping your identity, your confidence, and your capacity. And when the pressure comes, because it always does, it's your habits that will carry you or collapse on you. If you train yourself to rise, to push, to stay focused, then pressure won't break you. It'll reveal how ready you are. Habits are not just about what you do. They're about what you believe about yourself. Every time you follow through on a positive habit, you send a message to your brain that you are disciplined, capable, and worthy of success. Every time you break your word to yourself, you weaken that belief. So the stakes are higher than most people realize. The small habit of keeping promises to yourself, showing up when it's uncomfortable, choosing discipline over distraction, is not just shaping your results, it's shaping your identity. That's why people who take control of their habits begin to move different. They carry themselves with a quiet kind of power because they know they've done the work. They don't need the fake confidence. It grows naturally from consistency. You can look at a person's habits and almost predict where they'll be in 5 years. Are they investing in their mind or wasting time? Are they surrounding themselves with people who push them higher or people who pull them back? Are they building systems that support their goals, or are they winging it day after day, hoping things will magically change? The truth is, nothing changes until your habits do. You can dream as big as you want, but if your daily actions don't match that dream, it will always stay out of reach. Habits create alignment between your desires and your direction. They bring your vision out of your head and into your life. They are the daily vote you cast for the future you want to live. You must train your mind harder than you train your body. Most people focus so much on the physical, the external, the visible part of their life. They go to the gym. They watch what they eat. They try to look good on the outside. But inside, their minds are soft. They're strong in body, but weak in thought. And the truth is, your body will only go as far as your mind allows. You can lift weights, run for miles, eat clean, but if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, excuses, and negativity, you'll still fall short when life gets hard. That's why training your mind has to become your number one priority. It's the control center of everything you do, your decisions, your focus, your discipline, your reactions. They all start in your mind. If your mindset isn't sharp, your goals won't stand a chance. And mental training isn't just about positive thinking. It's about developing toughness, clarity, and control. It means learning how to handle pressure, how to bounce back from failure, how to keep moving forward when things don't go your way. Life is unpredictable, and emotions can be intense. But a trained mind doesn't react to everything. It pauses, it thinks, it responds with purpose. That's a skill. It takes effort to develop that kind of control, to not let every challenge knock you off course. But once you do, you become dangerous in the best way. You become someone who doesn't fold when it's difficult. You become someone who keeps their head when others lose theirs. That's the kind of strength that lasts. Training your mind means feeding it the right things. Just like your body needs good nutrition, your mind needs good information. What you listen to, what you read, what you say to yourself, all of it matters. You can't expect to think powerfully if you're constantly consuming negativity. You have to protect your mental space. That means staying away from toxic conversations, limiting time with people who drain your energy, and choosing what you allow to influence you. Read books that challenge you. Listen to people who inspire you. Speak to yourself with strength and belief. Your internal voice becomes your reality. If you train your mind to think like a winner, act like a winner, and push like a winner, you'll become one. Even if you weren't born with the advantages others had. Another part of mental training is doing hard things on purpose. When you do things that are uncomfortable, your brain starts to understand that discomfort doesn't mean danger, it means growth. The more you push yourself into situations that stretch you, the more confidence you build. You stop being afraid of challenge. You stop running from pressure. Instead, you learn how to thrive under it. That's what separates average from elite, not talent, but mental resilience. The ability to stay focused, calm, and determined even when everything around you is chaotic. When your mind is strong, your body will follow. Your actions will follow. Your habits will follow. Your entire life will begin to level up because your thoughts are no longer a prison. They become the fuel that drives your greatness. The right habits will keep you going when motivation disappears. Motivation is great, but it's not reliable. Some days you wake up fired up, ready to conquer the world, and other days you feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. That's just human nature. You can't count on feeling inspired every single morning, but you can count on your habits if you've built them strong enough. Habits don't ask how you feel. They don't depend on your mood or your circumstances. They just execute. That's the beauty of creating powerful habits. They carry you through the lows, the doubt, the stress, the laziness, and the fear. They act like a system that keeps you moving forward even when your emotional energy is low. When you're motivated, everything feels easy. You go to the gym, you read the book, you make the calls, you stay focused. But what separates high performers from everyone else is what they do when that motivation is gone. Winners don't stop because excitement faded. They don't give up because it's boring now or because progress feels slow. They keep going because they've created systems in their life that run automatically. They've made discipline a routine, not a reaction. They understand that emotions come and go, but results only come from what you do consistently. Building the right habits takes time, and it takes honesty. You have to ask yourself, what do I want my future to look like? Then work backward and identify the daily habits that support that future. If you want to be fit, then working out and eating clean need to become non-negotiables. If you want to be wealthy, then saving money, investing, and learning about financial growth must become a part of your everyday life. If you want to be confident, then you need to build habits around keeping promises to yourself and stepping outside of your comfort zone. You can't fake habits. They either exist in your life or they don't, and your outcomes will always reflect them. The problem is, many people quit too soon. They start something with excitement, but don't give it enough time to become part of who they are. They rely on hype instead of structure, but hype fades, emotion fades, life gets messy. That's where your habits step in and take over. When you don't feel like showing up, a habit says, we show up anyway. When you feel like quitting, a habit says, this is what we do. It becomes your internal operating system. You don't have to argue with yourself every day about whether or not to do the work. You just do it because it's who you are now. Those who build the right habits develop a kind of quiet power. They don't need external validation to stay on track. They don't need applause or attention to stay committed. Their habits give them momentum, direction, and purpose. They're not constantly starting over because they've created stability in their routine. Even when life throws challenges their way, they have a foundation they can rely on. That foundation doesn't crack under pressure because it was built with intention, discipline, and consistency.